Paul, to come here. Thank you so much. Lord, I'm so excited for you and this ministry. This is good stuff. Mm. I'm Breeze Jefferson. I'm so glad to be in the building. I am a licensed professional counselor. I've been doing this, it don't look like it, 15 years now. Love it. I've been in private practice now for about 3 years strong now. Before I worked for Wellstone, saw a lot of psychotic disorders, worked with those that had seriously mental illnesses. Then went to A&M and did counseling there for about 1.5 years with those students there. Let me introduce, before I get started with that, my famous person, my most important person in this room here, Matt Barshaw. He is awesome. He is the clinical director of client services, so he does all that scheduling, billing, all that stuff that I'm not too fond of. I just want to do this counseling thing, so I thank him so much for what he does for fame. So we have a private practice here in Huntsville. Again, 3 years strong. We've been doing this. Love it, love it, love it. We work with children, we work with adolescents, we work with adults. We work with a range of disorders, anxiety, depression, trauma, grief, loss, all that good stuff. I have a counselor that works with me as well, but she could not make it here today. She works a lot with children and a lot with trauma. So I was asked, let me just jump on in here. I know we're hungry and ready to eat and do all this good stuff, but I was asked to talk about grief. Grief is a natural reaction to something that we have lost, someone or something we have lost. A lot of the times we think of grief as just losing somebody, but we can experience grief in different domains. We can experience grief with the loss of a job, loss of a pet, loss of just about anything. But we tend to think of grief just with the thought of just losing someone. But grief is just kind of this broad spectrum of just loss of just about anything. Grief is, again, a natural reaction to something that we have lost. And a lot of the times we put pressure, I think, upon ourselves, like we should respond a certain way, or we should grieve a certain way, or we should mourn a certain way. But I'm here to tell you there's no one way. Okay? Your way is the right way. Okay? Yes? We put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I see a lot of people put a lot of pressure on themselves. Okay? We're at our own speed, whatever that is. Okay? Now, grief can kind of sneak in a little bit with other domains in our life. Okay? Physically, emotionally, mentally, culturally, spiritually, all that stuff. If I'm going through grief and maybe I'm having a hard time, I can experience physically not being able to sleep, not being able to eat, having digestive issues, all that stuff, okay? Mentally, I can, if I'm experiencing grief, have anxiety, okay? Am I grieving the right way? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? So we can experience that as well, a lot of mental stuff. Emotionally as well, in our community, if I'm stepping on any toes, I apologize straight up. We tend to try to ignore it. If I stuff it down in the inside, then it didn't happen. That is, I think, the worst thing that we can do. Okay? We have got to drop this persona of we just got to be strong 100% of the time. Okay? I think that really trips us up and messes us up terribly. It is okay to get help. That's right. All right. Say that one more time. All right. It is okay to get help. It sure is. Losing someone is very traumatic. Losing something is very traumatic. Okay? It is okay to ask for help. We can drop that strong persona that we just super women and super men.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Yes. Now, with grief, we tend to go through different stages. First stage is the denial stage. Oh, this is not happening. This just can't be real. Can't do it. It's not happening. Not real. Okay? Second stage we can go through is this anger stage. I can't believe this has happened. I just can't believe it. I'm just so mad. I'm throwing things, cussing people out, getting angry with them. Okay? Next stage is this bargaining stage. God, if you just let me let me go to church every Sunday, and then it's just let me do that, and then it's just gonna be all right. And make it right. Next stage is this depression stage. Hopeless, helpless, stay in the bed all the time, don't want to talk to nobody, just totally withdrawn. Last stage, the stage we hopefully will get to, is this acceptance. Acceptance doesn't necessarily mean that we agree. It just means we got a better way. Like we making meaning, and we're kind of able to move on a little healthier. Okay? 5 stages. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Now, we all don't go through the stages in a straight line, just like that. Sometimes maybe we can go through the stages in that line. We may get to denial, may get to anger, and then we may go back to denial. There's no straight way. And everybody deals with grief differently. Now, you've got to understand, especially in our community, this being strong, being super women, being super men, sometimes we tend to make things and attach to things that make it a little worse than what it needs to be. Right? We start creating this whole world, this whole persona, this whole perception of things. We make it harder than it needs to be. So we have this strong persona. So it's very important when we're going through this grief process to find family, friends who will totally listen and give us a space. Now, excuse them, sometimes they're not going to say what we want them to say. Sometimes they're not. But I promise you, they're trying to do the best that they can do because they don't want to see it in this thing. They don't. And sometimes they say things because they want to help you, but it comes out totally wrong. Okay? Nothing wrong with having a conversation with somebody and asking them or telling them, requesting them what you need, because they don't know. Okay? Now, if family and friends won't give us the space to be able to grieve or go through this grieving process, nothing wrong with going to seek help professionally.
Amen.
Nothing wrong with that. Because again, we have to be careful. We start creating this world around these things that we stuff deep, deep, deep down inside. And then we start having this other type of emotions, this resentfulness, this bitterness, all of these things that we have to be careful. Okay? That we do not want to get there.